On the floor of the Pacific, SCP-045 sits inside a 5-meter chamber filled with neon instead of air. The Foundation keeps it there because ordinary atmosphere cannot be allowed to touch it. 5 meters of seawater separate the chamber from human spaces, and every interaction is done by telepresence or robot. Even the restraints are built to release, because forcing SCP-045 to stay still is more dangerous than letting it move. In 1972, a Foundation submarine followed a cluster of localized tremors and found SCP-045 wedged in a crevice on the abyssal plain. That crack in the rock appears to have been the only thing preventing the object from rotating. SCP-045 is a 1.7-meter icosahedron of ice-12, crossed by regular planar fractures and far denser than that material should be. Even before it moves, its geometry reads less like geology than engineering from somewhere else. Across temperatures from near absolute zero to 227 degrees Celsius, and across enormous pressures, SCP-045 stays stable. Melted or vaporized water still clings together, and separated portions freeze back into smaller icosahedrons with the same anomalous form. Foundation researchers currently treat SCP-045 as the three-dimensional projection of a hypericosahedron. They are still trying to learn how that lower-dimensional shadow stays stable, and whether the same principle can aid other dimensional anomalies. At intervals ranging from 2 weeks to 3 months, SCP-045 suddenly rotates on multiple axes for no more than 73 seconds. Each event produces a burst of localized seismic activity around the chamber. If that rotation is blocked, the tremors climb logarithmically until they reach magnitude 5.3. When the motion ends, the radius of SCP-045's effect briefly doubles for exactly as long as the rotation lasted. Within 3.7 meters, nitrogen gas becomes liquid water, and argon becomes crystalline sodium chloride. The conversion ratios are precise enough to measure, but the mechanism behind them remains unknown. That rule explains the submarine disaster. Once SCP-045 entered range of the vessel's interior gases, the atmosphere itself became reactants. The breach was not an explosion from outside, but the cabin turning into raw material around the crew. After years of testing, researchers accidentally learned that hydrogen diffused through saline water is converted into a random mix of simple amino acids. The reaction only appears in saltwater like the brine SCP-045 already creates. The seafloor around the discovery site holds a microbial community about 3 times more diverse than expected for that region. Its biochemistry overuses the amino acids SCP-045 produces, and the organisms can thrive in pure saltwater with no other organics. SCP-045 is still classified safe, but only inside a neon chamber on the Pacific seafloor, behind water, robotics, and a protocol that allows it to turn. It remains contained, yet its localized threat, dimensional nature, and unexplained biological consequences are still unresolved.